Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news update show and watch along to the Ronaldo interview, which will be airing in about 25 minutes. So we're going to talk about the news, going to talk about the Man United news. We're going to do a little bit of a World Cup tribute video. Bruno Fernandes is playing right now for Portugal and has just got a cheeky goal and assist, and Delo's just got an assist as well, people, in interesting news. But in today's video, we're going to talk about the Ronaldo interview. Apparently, Ronaldo is going to go in on Erik Ten Hag tonight. Cristiano Ronaldo reportedly going in on Erik Ten Hag tonight, people. So it's going to be interesting to see what he has to say. I hope he's not too disrespectful. But Gary Neville has responded to Ronaldo's comments about him. Gary Neville has got some things to say about the Ronaldo interview, which I'm going to get up in a second, and all of that as well. Gary Neville believes that Ten Hag hasn't done anything wrong so far and that Ten Hag hasn't needed to change anything and thinks he's doing a good job. We're going to get into the Ronaldo interview. When that starts, still watch along for the Ronaldo interview. My advice is watch the Ronaldo interview on one device, watch me on the other device. We can chat along with it. I think why I wanted to do a watch along for the Ronaldo interview, which starts at 8, is because I think that way, we can actually chat about it as it's happening. I can be like, Ronaldo said this, and we can actually have that conversation and chat about it while it's going on. I always think that would be more interesting. The annoying thing that annoyed me yesterday was there wasn't a live chat on Piers Morgan's live stream, and I just think a live chat would make it a lot more interesting. But let's dive into the news. I will dive into live chat in just a second. But I do want to quickly throw out, people, but before I get into news, that this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. As you can see, I've got the OneFootball app up here on my screen. It's got the what Gary Neville said about Ronaldo's hurtful comments on him, just coming up here. There's also, injury on Varane update. Man United selling Ronaldo, a report about how Ten Hag wants Ronaldo gone. They've got, obviously, this was actually really sad. This story pissed me off, people. But David De Gea was told by Spain, oh, congratulations on your retirement, and De Gea hadn't retired, and Spain are forcing him to retire. The disrespect and mistreatment of David De Gea is a joke. James Maddison said that he watched Bruno Fernandes, and that causes improvement. And then there's obviously loads of other bits and pieces. Actually, we are linked to Cody Gakpo again as well. Another boost that Man United could sign Gakpo. And then a lot of stories on Neville responding to Ronaldo criticism. Now, the OneFootball app is a completely free app, and it's going to be keeping you up to date on all the World Cup stuff, as well as your Manchester United news. It is the place to go to stay up to date on all of it. It's an app you can download on iOS, on Android for completely free. I've obviously got the website up here, but the app is completely free, easy done. Link in the description, link pinned in the chat to do that. But I want to get into the news. I want to get into the stories, but that is, of course, my favorite football app, people, as well. And did he earn his strips at United back in the day? And Ronaldo's legacy ruined. So, Steve, guys, has Ronaldo ruined his legacy or not? In my opinion, I don't think he has, because I grew up watching him and Rooney in the early 2000s, and I'm not going to let a silly interview ruin it for me. But for a lot of people, I think it has. But let me know down below, has Ronaldo ruined his legacy or not? Glory, glory, Man United. David says, I want him out of the club, wants to move forward and not be dragged down by this. Enough is enough. I agree with David. I love Ronaldo. I love Ronaldo, but I think it's best for both people. I think it's best for everybody if we let Ronaldo have his move and move on. I think it's the best decision that United can make as well. A lot of people selling him. I mean, he's gone anyway tomorrow morning. So what's going to be happening, people, is today we're going to get into news. We're going to get into this story at 8 o'clock. We're going to do a watch along for the Ronaldo interview. We're going to dive into the Ronaldo interview at 8 o'clock. And then after the Ronaldo interview, we're going to do a short 7-8 minute reaction video to Ronaldo interview, what he has to say. Apparently today, Ronaldo is going on Ten Hag, going in on the Glazers. Yesterday, it wasn't too bad. He didn't really say anything outrageous. The trailer built up this Ronaldo interview. And I watched the trailer and I thought this Ronaldo interview with Piers Morgan is going to be insane. I'm watching the trailer like, what is going on? This Ronaldo interview is going to be insane. La-di-la-di-la-di-la-di-la. We can't hate Ronaldo, Alice. I agree with you, Sandip. You can never hate him because he is a United legend at the end of the day. And I thought this Ronaldo interview part 1 was going to be really juicy. It wasn't, which makes me believe, and from what I've been told privately, apparently tonight is going to be juicy. Apparently tonight is where all the good stuff comes out. And apparently tonight is going to tear in on Ten Hag, the Glazers, and more. Some really interesting things coming out tonight, reportedly, but you never know because Piers Morgan's overly marketing this. What pisses me off is I have Piers Morgan notifications on just for this week, and then they're going off. And every fucking tweet of his is 1 million views in 1 hour, 10 million views in 1 day. Oh, you prat, Piers Morgan. You're using Ronaldo for the views. Yeah, I tell you this now, going in and going in. Laurie Whitwell's just dropped an Edwin van der Sar exclusive, which we will have a look at in a second as well. And is this about Ronaldo? Is it about the Glazers? Aren't we taking the eye off the ball by blaming Ronaldo? Then we should be blaming the Glazers. At the end of the day, the focus after this interview should be on getting those ratty, ugly vermin out of the club. Joel, Glazer, Avram, Glazer, get out. That's what we should be focusing on. Getting Joel and Avram out of the club. My opinion on the interview is, I agree with a lot. I think there's good and bad bits in the interview. I agree with a lot of things Ronaldo says, but I disagree with some things Ronaldo say. I think some of the things Ronaldo says are unacceptable. Some of the things Ronaldo say, I go, wow, you go, Ronaldo. Very mixed opinions on the interview. Should he be doing the interview? No. Is he calling out the Glazers? So I kind of like that he's doing the interview. Yes. Should United let him go? Yes. Should we all move past Ronaldo? Yes. But my main focus is on let's make this about getting the Glazers out. Because interestingly, Piers Morgan drops a 3-minute clip of Ronaldo slandering the Glazers, saying they're a marketing club, and Man United, it has an impact. I'm going to tell you this now. This is massive, guys. I'll tell you how much of an impact it's had. As soon as Ronaldo came out saying United's a marketing club, Man United deleted their tweet about their Black Friday sale. Man United deleted their Black Friday sale because Ronaldo called them a marketing club. They are on strings. They are triggered. No wonder we're getting linked to Mbappe, Kane, and Osimhen yesterday. And remember, we were going to sign Mbappe, Kane, and Osimhen literally on Tuesday, the morning after Ronaldo goes in on the Glazers. Ronaldo is getting to the Glazers. This is big for getting the Glazers out. And I would say, have your attention on the Glazers out movement. We all agree Ronaldo should move on because that's what he wants. That's what the club wants. That's what Ten Hag wants. That's what's there for the club. Well, let Ronaldo move on. But let's not. I think the focus of this interview, I don't want it to be on Ronaldo. I want it to be on the Glazer out movement. But I think a lot of people, because of Ronaldo's attack at Ten Hag, will be triggered by what Ronaldo says, and that's understandable. I think if Ronaldo had just done the interview going in on the board in the Glazers, every single Man United fan would be behind him. But because he's done and gone on Ten Hag and all of that, a lot of people were like, this is just a Ronaldo interview to make him feel better about themselves. This is not about what the fans want. This is not about improving the club. And a lot of people seem to have that mindset as well. Now, the interview will be out in 20 minutes, and we will be doing a watch along to the interview. As Gaz says, the Glazers are scum. Smash the likes of Glazers are scum as well. The Red Devil says, out, out, out. And Steve says the Glazers don't care about the club. They do not care about the club as well. And what he's done is amazing, but it's hard for anyone to defend what he's done. I agree with you, Steve. It's so good and so bad at the same time as well. You can't kick the owner. You know what? If I was ever government of the UK, I'd tell you what, the UK, I know we're in the cost of living crisis and all that. If I was government, I would make it my duty to get the Glazers out. Sorry, cost of living crisis. Sorry, you're unemployed. I'm a shit government because my focus is not on feeding you. My focus is getting the Glazers out of Man United. I mean, we need to get them out. Don't know how we are going to get them out, but we need to get them out. But I actually want to dive into the story. So, Gary Neville has responded to Ronaldo's criticism on him, and Gary Neville believes that Manchester United should cancel Ronaldo's contract in the next few days. The Portugal forward obviously said he felt betrayed by Ten Hag, and that Gary Neville argued that Ronaldo should leave United after he was left out the squad against Chelsea, and last month his refusal to come on versus a substitute during the victory versus Tottenham. Gary Neville said he wouldn't have done this interview if he wanted a way back. He knew it would bring the headlines. It has to end. Has to be the end of United's career. And Gary Neville says this has to be the end of Ronaldo's United career. Gary Neville even said, I wonder what Man United are doing, because in the reality of it, they know they have to terminate Cristiano Ronaldo's contract or basically open up a precedent so any player can criticise them in the future. So basically, Man United have got to terminate Ronaldo's contract tomorrow after the full interview's out, or basically allow any other player to do this. And it's like, if they don't terminate Ronaldo's contract, that basically means other players can go and do this and not be punished. Gary Neville did say he agrees with some of the things Cristiano Ronaldo has said, and many fans will agree with many things Ronaldo has said. But the reality is, if you're an employee with a business and you say those things, your employment has to terminate, and Man United have to do that. And I think Gary Neville's right. And I call out Gary Neville when he's talking shit, but he's saying, realistically, by the rules, Man United would need to terminate Cristiano Ronaldo's contract. And Gary Neville believes United should also shoulder blame for the deterioration of the relationship, saying they could have come together a couple of weeks ago and navigated a pathway through what could have potentially been choppy seas to the shore, but it's not happened, and they both basically backed into a corner. And you know what? Gary Neville's spot on about this. And why Gary Neville's spot on about this is, and people are going to be angry with Ronaldo doing this interview, but what does it come to for Ronaldo to do this interview? you know, my actual thought process is Ronaldo shouldn't be doing the interviews, employed by the business, unprofessional. But what does it come to behind the scenes for Ronaldo to do the interview? The board ignored him, the Glazers ignored him, the executives ignored him so much, treated him so badly, and used him as a financial marketing tool to the extent of where Ronaldo couldn't leave because they said to him, you sell shirts, you're a financial marketing tool. That basically Ronaldo's like, I've got to basically go do this interview and get my contract terminated and piss them off. Because Ronaldo couldn't negotiate with them mutually because he knows that they're using him for commercial gain. And if you actually look at it, you know, the Glazers and the board have got themselves to blame as much as Ronaldo, because if they'd actually, you know, if them and Ronaldo had actually communicated through this, if they'd have given Ronaldo what he wanted, if they hadn't lied to Ronaldo about the situation, do you think Ronaldo would be doing this interview? Probably not. So I think when Gary Neville says that the board have got to take some blame, I think that Gary Neville, people, is absolutely spot on. I think that the board has got to take some blame as well. Amna says, dear Alice, I have a horrible feeling that he goes to Arsenal and wins the league. It is a shame the way it has ended. Man United could have navigated and handled this in a professional manner. I tell you what, if Ronaldo goes to Arsenal and wins the league, I'll be fucking crying. But I don't think he's what Arteta wants as part of his project. Arteta got rid of Aubameyang because of off-field distractions. And personally, myself, I think Aubameyang would do the same with Cristiano Ronaldo. And same, the Glazers will spend a ton of money in the January transfer window to brush off the accusations. I don't even know if they're going to spend a load of money in the January transfer window. My thought process is tomorrow, watch Man, because he's going in on the Glazers tonight. He's going on the Glazers when the interview comes out in 15 minutes. Tomorrow, let's watch Cristiano Ronaldo going on the Glazers tonight. And tomorrow, we're going to be linked to every fucking player under the sun tomorrow. Tomorrow's live stream, I guarantee you, is going to be a Transfer News live stream. And we'll be linked to every single player under the sun as part of Glazer PR. There's also, I believe the Glazers will make up stories about Ronaldo and leak it to the press to try and get us to turn on Ronaldo after the interview and not them. I think it's going to be a thing where the Glazers will try and redirect as much blame as they can on Ronaldo. They will link us to every player to try and distract us from what Ronaldo's going to say about the Glazers tonight. I guarantee you Man United will be linked with every single player under the sun, and I'm going to tell you who we're going to sign. We're going to sign Choupo-Moting in January. Clip this, come back to this. We will be signing Choupo-Moting in January. We'll be linked to all the top players, and they'll go and get someone cheap. And Ronaldo will go to Bayern, and we'll get Choupo-Moting as well. Strange how we wore the captain's armband versus Villa and couldn't influence that game. You are past it, dude. Move on. And the thing that annoyed me about Ronaldo saying Ten Hag had disrespected him was Ronaldo said this a few days after Ten Hag gave him captaincy after Ronaldo refused to come on. And Ten Hag gave Ronaldo captaincy as a sign of respect as well. Hey Neville, how about calling out the Glazers? You're not employed by them. Neville does call out the Glazers, to be fair to him. When Neville talks shit, I say Neville talks shit. But to be fair to Neville, he has called out the Glazers. Over 300 people watching, so make sure you smash that like button. And of course, make sure to subscribe to Alice Talks Football if you're new people. Remember, I go live every single evening on the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, make sure you subscribe. In 15 minutes, we'll be doing a live watch along for the Ronaldo interview. So I'll be sort of watching the interview with you guys. We're going to talk live about what Ronaldo says in his interview. We're going to have a big chat about the Ronaldo interview as well. And apparently today he's going to go in on Ten Hag, which I don't want to see, if I'm being honest. I don't want to see him going in on Ten Hag, but you know, we're here for the drama as well. This is the end of his career. Where do you think Ronaldo's going to go? Sporting, Bayern, Arsenal, Chelsea? Put in the chat, where do you see Ronaldo going? Because I tell you what, if Ronaldo plays another game for United, I will do a £100 giveaway on YouTube. I'll give one of you guys £100 if Ronaldo puts on a shirt for United again. I don't think Ten Hag will. After what he's going to say about Ten Hag tonight, I think there's no way, Ten Hag is letting him back in the squad as well. That would be hilarious if United replaced Ronaldo with Messi. I mean, that would be absolutely hilarious. Who would you replace Ronaldo with realistically? Realistically, don't say Haaland. Who would you replace Ronaldo with? Let me know down below as well. We should have terminated his contract after Spurs. He was disciplined and we thought that was the end of it, but now he's got to have his things. And the only deal breaker is slagging off Erik Ten Hag, possibly Rangnick. Otherwise, he's totally on point. I agree with Rebel here. If Ronaldo didn't go in on Erik Ten Hag, I'd probably sit here and go, this interview, while some of the bits were unnecessary and while he slagged off Rangnick and praised Ollie and maybe there was a bit of favouritism in there, I'd say, the interview's spot on, fair to Ronaldo, but he's employed by the club and he's gone and slagged off Erik Ten Hag that I don't think, from an outsider's perspective, has treated him too badly as well. I think a lot of them, what's interesting as well is a lot of Man United players seem to be coming to Ten Hag's side on this as well, which speaks volumes as well. And he's taken a chance to shine Garnacho's goal and make the World Cup about him. Maybe that's what he wants. I tell you what, he didn't praise Garnacho, so Garnacho's probably a Messi fan now as well. Bin him off to the MLS to retire. I think Ronaldo wants to play in the Champions League. Reportedly, Messi's going to the MLS, which I think is interesting as well. And yes, £100 out of some skin. Well, Gaz is now secretly hoping that Ronaldo plays another game as well. Realistic replacement is Gakpo, 100%. I would say Ivan Toney, but with that gamble and shit, he ain't going near football for a while. Osimhen would be the dream. Kane, I think, would be a good signing. But I think realistic replacement, I think, is probably Gakpo. Showcat Khan says, after Sir Alex Woodward and Glazer's policy of marquee signings for commercial purposes ruined the club. Absolutely spot on. They ruined the club, you know what, because it's all about commercial. Man United need to sign young players. A lot of them aren't the most known players. They maybe don't come from a top 5 league, but they're really good technical up-and-coming players that can be nurtured under Ten Hag, and few experienced players, not commercial players. And do you know what's really interesting is, I'm going to find it actually. I think Remedy did a really interesting video on TikTok. Is that how I spell his name? How do I spell his name? Well, I'm going to show you a TikTok video. I don't know how to spell his name. One sec. I know how to spell his name. Remedy. There we go. He did a really good video on, I think it was him, for at least, about the commercial side of Ronaldo. I think this is it. Okay.
This is the commercial impact of Chris.
Right, can you hear this, guys? Can you hear this? Listen to this. I thought this was a really good video. Okay, ready? Let me know if it lags and I can play again.
This is the commercial impact of Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Manchester United. Now, when he signed for Manchester United, their social media interactions have doubled. In the past year, they have earned over 2 billion interactions, more than Real Madrid and more than Barcelona by at least over 400 million. They are now the biggest team in the world, according to social media. According to some financial analysts, Ronaldo's impact has enabled Manchester United to earn over £20 million a season due to their new shirt sleeve sponsor, the largest in the world. During the summer when Cristiano Ronaldo was linked with a move away from Manchester United, these sponsors did not want it to happen. Maybe they were the reason why Cristiano Ronaldo didn't leave, or part of the reason. And if we speak about Juventus, the Ronaldo effect has truly been felt. Their interactions have dropped by over 50%, whilst the number of followers gained has only increased by 5%. I guess this is the Ronaldo effect.
So, did you watch that video? I thought that video was really interesting because he speaks about basically the financial aspect of Ronaldo at Manchester United. He says that, you know, Juventus followers' interactions on social media dropped by 50%. Ronaldo being at Man United meant that Man United could generate the most money via sponsors and all of that. And Remedy talks about the big commercial thing, and Remedy suggests potentially maybe Man United don't let Ronaldo go because of actually how much money Ronaldo brings in for the club. Like how much money he will. Like when Ronaldo leaves Man United, the money we make off social media is going to halve. You know, since Ronaldo's joined Man United, no teams had made more money off sponsors. No teams gained more social media followers. No teams got more social media interactions. Ronaldo has made Man United go from 10th to 1st for sponsorship money, interactions, social media. He did that with Juventus as well. And when he left Juventus, it absolutely fell off. And I thought it was really good video by Remedy because maybe the sponsors, maybe the people higher up at Man United stopped him leaving. You know, I think the reason Ronaldo's pissed off and the reason Ronaldo's done this interview is because things have broke down with the people higher up. Ronaldo tried to negotiate with his move with the people higher up, didn't get the move he wanted. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United were forcing him to stay for their own marketing and financial gain, because we know the board, we know the Glazers, and maybe the reason he's so unhappy and angry, and maybe the reason he's had to go on TV and cancel the Glazers is because that's the only way he gets his contract terminated, and maybe the only way Ronaldo can leave United this season is if his contract gets terminated, because so many sponsors, so much money that Man United make is dependent on Ronaldo being here. I've always thought, you know, that could be a possible theory behind it as well. Dividends definitely as well, and 20 million though from search sales is no small popcorn, exactly, says Diego as well. And Man United will find a way to replace that revenue. Man United will probably go for Mbappe just to replace the revenue as well. But I thought that was a really good video. If you just joined the live stream, scroll back about 2 minutes. I just played a really, really good video on the amount of money that Ronaldo brings to a club as well. And you have to realise United are a social media club, and Messi left Barcelona, so they lost all that commercial interest. And that's the thing with United being a social media club. You know, you can just see the way we are. You know, it's all about that financial gain, all about, let's take the piss that we sign Ronaldo on social media for interactions. Man United do everything they can to milk them social media reactions. Man United do everything they can to milk social media reactions. And it's very obvious with Ronaldo. I wouldn't be shocked if something came out tonight that Ronaldo said the Glazers forced me to stay because they want to make money off of me when I could have had a move. I wouldn't be shocked if there's some truth in the fact that Ronaldo was forced to stay for commercial reasons, because we know our board, we know they're freaking jammy, and we saw how Juventus have gone poof since Ronaldo's left financially. Now, Ronaldo leaving might help Man United on the pitch, but Ronaldo leaving won't help Man United financially in terms of sponsorships and money brought in. Do the Glazers care more about how much Man United bring in financially, or do the Glazers care more about Man United, how Man United do on the pitch? The Glazers care more about what Man United bring in financially. So I think there's a significant chance that the Glazers would rather have Ronaldo at the club annoying everybody, causing problems because he generates shirt sales than sell Ronaldo. However, if Ronaldo then does an interview, calls out the Glazers, shit talks the Glazers, they will have no option but to terminate his contract. And I still believe, as I'm going to say, the motivation behind the interview was he wanted to get his contract terminated. This is why he's doing the interview, because this is his only way out of Manchester United. I think that why Ronaldo in the interview was unacceptable, I think the board have only got themselves to blame, because I don't think he'd be doing this interview if things didn't break down with the board as well. And yeah, are we a real football club? Unfortunately not. We have owners that only care about what benefits them as well. And the Glazers cry out in pain and then they stab you in the back. You know what? Ronaldo stabbing the Glazers in the back is the best thing. You know what? Basically, as Daniel says, the Glazers basically took advantage of Ronaldo's popularity. And my favourite thing about the Glazers taking advantage of Ronaldo's popularity is it's going to blow back in their face tonight in this interview. It's absolutely going to blow back in the Glazers' face in this interview tonight. They took advantage of Ronaldo's popularity. The Glazers go out there, they sign Ronaldo, they can get all this commercial revenue and all of that as well. La-di-la-di-la. Glazers going, let's see how much revenue we can make. Let's sign Ronaldo. Let's see how much revenue we can make. La-di-la-di-la. Glazers are sitting there. And guess what? Guess what, people? It's going to blow back in their face tonight because Ronaldo's going to come out and slam the Glazers. And the Glazers sign Man United for money. And Ronaldo's going to expose that. And you know what? It's going to slam back in their face. And I think I love that. If Ronaldo stays, it will be much worse, as it means everyone will undermine the manager. Spot on, Lord Fane. I love Ronaldo, but Ten Hag wants him gone. He wants gone. One, there's no reason to keep him. But two, what kind of message would it send if in a couple of weeks' time, January, Ronaldo's starting for United? If Ronaldo goes on live TV with Piers Morgan, of all people, Ronaldo gets some fucking class and slams his manager, and then a couple of weeks later, his manager's starting him, that sends the message to the squad that the manager's weak. You can undermine the manager. The board will back finances over the manager. And you know, it doesn't set an example. For a club that's had so many dressing room issues, we need to start leading by example. Thank you very much for the super chat, Amir. They wanted him gone, but they didn't want him to leave. He loves the club, but he was talking to other clubs. The facilities are old, but he chose to sign. It's an interesting question. It's an interesting one. I think Ronaldo chose to sign because Sir Alex Ferguson spoke to him. He saw Sancho, he saw Varane, he saw we came second. I think Ronaldo generally thought if he signed for Manchester United, like, things would be better. And I think he came and he was like, shit, like, I knew United wasn't the best run club, but this is worse than what I thought. But it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing, but I think he chose to sign for Man United because at the end of the day, it was the loyalty aspect. It was better to go to City, but at the end of the day, it did have the loyalty aspect. Who disrespected Rangnick more, Ronaldo or Man United? I mean, Ronaldo was just a bit rude and unnecessary. I think, you know, you forget that when we signed Ralph Rangnick, there wasn't a Ten Hag or a Pep or a top manager available. So we went with Rangnick to the end of the season, and people keep forgetting that we signed Rangnick to go upstairs. And unfortunately, because Rangnick got so fed up with the board, he called them out, so we couldn't go upstairs and do what we wanted, what Mertens doing. Because Rangnick, if we had Rangnick in the summer transfer window, things would have been a lot better. And the real reason that we obviously went for Rangnick is for him to go upstairs. And people don't understand that. And he was an interim manager. There wasn't any world-class managers available at that time. We were waiting until we got Ten Hag, la-di-la-di-la. And the thing that annoys me about that is the sense that I think there was a little bit of naivety in Ronaldo's comment. Like, yeah, you didn't know who Rangnick was. Yeah, we probably should have signed a proper coach. But actually, if you looked at the situation, we were waiting for Ten Hag to be available. We're waiting for a top coach to be available. We thought Rangnick can do the temporary job because he could, but he could go upstairs after. And I always thought Rangnick was quite a smart move in a weird way. It didn't work out because he couldn't get the respect of the players. Well, I think any manager that got the job would have been in a difficult situation because of the just damning and shocking attitude of the Manchester United players as well. Andrew says, I'm really surprised as to how shameless the Glazers are. There are protests against them, and now CR7 is exposing them. When will they give up? I don't know. There's rumours that the Glazers will be gone in the next 2 years. There's rumours that the Glazers are... I know this for a fact, people. I know this for a fact. Certain members of the Glazer family are done with United. But unfortunately, it's not Joel Glazer. It's more like the woman. But certain members of the Glazers family who liked United a couple of years ago are so fed up with all the shit that comes along with it, the protests they had done. Man United, the Glazers have also got non-disclosure agreements with another American company over the sale of Man United, so something could be going on that we don't know. Regarding a sale of Manchester United as well, you've always got to keep an eye on that. It's a question of when the Glazers will sell. There were some good sources, Alex Crook, that said they believe the Glazers will sell in the next 2 years. There are some really good sources indicating that the Glazers could sell. I think the Telegraph even did a report that they believe the Glazers are getting ready to sell United. We know the Glazers don't have the finances to compete in the Premier League for top four unless they invest. And we know they're trying to sell off stocks. We know the Glazers are even trying to do a Barcelona and sell off TV rights, but I think that will cause a meltdown. And it might get to the point where United have crap facilities, crap stadium because it's just getting damp and drippy. They're also behind on the pitch. There's so much invested needing in Man United that the Glazers might have to sit there and go, you know what, shit, we're going to have to invest in Man United. And that could potentially get the Glazers into leading, people. Hopefully, but let's say potentially as well. Wayne Rooney, there he is. Cristiano Ronaldo's bestie, Wayne Rooney. We'll get the quotes up as well. Van der Sar said this interesting fact. Here we go. He said Arsenal came early for Lissandro, but it was an amount where we said, thank you very much for the offer, but we'd rather keep the player than start negotiating. With United, it was a little bit different. So we did outbid Arsenal for Lissandro, and then Arsenal matched our bid, I think, and then obviously Lissandro ended up going. And Prime Bruno Fernandes, what we need in the second half of the season. Bruno with a goal assist going on for Portugal, people. We are going to get the interview up in a second as well. But I'm just looking at the news while we're waiting for 1 minute. 1 minute to the interview drops, people. 1 minute. What is that wanker Piers Morgan saying as well? He's getting ready for the Cristiano Ronaldo interview, people. So 1 minute until the interview's up. We'll go on to Mr. Twatty Morgan here. Mr. Twatty Piers Morgan. World exclusive Piers Morgan interview, people. We will get quotes up in a second, but I'm going to get the interview up on my screen. Look, I'm skeptical because I think the first half of the interview you could argue is disappointing. You know, Piers Morgan was making out this interview was going to be really dramatic. The trailers were going to be really dramatic. Piers Morgan was clickbaiting the interview because Piers Morgan goes, Ronaldo reveals shocking revelations tonight. It's about his dead baby that we know, and he's clickbaiting a dead baby. However, a lot of the things Piers Morgan released, like him saying Ten Hag betrayed him, Ten Hag, he doesn't respect Ten Hag, wasn't in the first part. The stuff on the Glazers wasn't in the first part. I think the second part, because part 2 is always where it gets juicy, I think this second part is where it's going to be. I think it's potentially going to get really juicy. And I've got the interview up here. I don't want to get copyrighted, so we'll just sort of discuss the interview. Maybe I can play the audio without getting copyrighted as well. And I heard back in 2008, Piers Morgan called Ronaldo a Portuguese pizza delivery face driver. You know what's funny is Piers Morgan went on and on and on about Ronaldo. And Piers Morgan, back in the day, used to go on. Oh, the interview started, people. Piers Morgan used to go on and on and on about Ronaldo back in the day, slamming Ronaldo all the time. And then Piers Morgan's now like bigging up Ronaldo. Right now, it's just the adverts for the interview. They're just showing the Jeremy Hunt, all this crap. Can I scroll forward? There we go. Let's get the interview up. So, guys, if you get the interview up on one screen and me on the other, we'll chat to it as it happens. Unfortunately, we have to listen to Piers Morgan, but you know what? Piers Morgan's still my dream guest, just because the views. So let's have a look at the interview, people. More money or Instagram followers? That's the first question. He's rich. Morgan's loving it, milking for more subscribers and attention for a man's tragedy and drama. I know it's a joke. Absolute joke. Ronaldo talk about being number 1 on Instagram here. Do you think I'll get copyright if I play it out loud? Can YouTube copyright strike you for audio? Let me just Google this because I might play it out loud. Ronaldo says football's a business now. You might have, Alice. I think listen to the audio and listen to me. Football's a business. Piers Morgan can do one. Ronaldo's talking about it all being business. Ronaldo's saying he believes he's the black sheep because the problem's always him. He feels like he's always the problem. He's always the one getting criticised. He feels like the black sheep. He's talking about Ten Hag now. He says he regrets leaving the stadium early. Ronaldo says 99% of what's said about him is garbage. Ronaldo says he regrets leaving the stadium early, people. He's talking about pre-season, leaving early, how he regrets it. Talks about how Ten Hag was only going to sub him on for 3 minutes. He's talking about his daughter. His baby had bronchitis, and that's why it's pre-season. Portugal 2-0 up, people. Wasn't Piers Morgan connected to Epstein? Yeah. I doubt he was a nonster. I think he just knew Epstein through journalism. Sounds like the speaker with one voice. How's this an interview? He's interviewing Ronaldo. Ronaldo's been right so far in saying football's a business and everything. I'm just getting the key quotes up on my screen for you. His baby daughter was ill just after he lost his son, and he said, me and 8 players left the pre-season game early, but they mentioned only my name. Everyone does that. Last year, many players did the same, but they only speak of me. I'm the black sheep, which is absolutely spot on, to be fair to Ronaldo. They only speak of him. He said that the feeling Ten Hag always mentioned to me is that I didn't need the pre-season, so I should wait for my opportunity. But you don't do the same procedures to every player. I'm not going to mention players, but they don't do the same. And Ronaldo's saying on Ten Hag that Ten Hag said he couldn't start right away because he didn't have pre-season, but other players that didn't have a pre-season or getting an opportunity, and he wasn't going to name names. And that's what he was annoyed about, hypocrisy, which I think is quite an interesting comment, people. And apparently he's going to go in on Ten Hag. Ronaldo's gone in on Ten Hag. Ronaldo says Ten Hag doesn't respect the way I should deserve, but it is what it is. This is probably why the game against Tottenham he left. He's saying he left early against Tottenham because he doesn't respect Ten Hag. Piers Morgan saying about United fans abusing Ronaldo. Piers abuses Arsenal players and the manager all the time when they lose. Also called an Arsenal player a monkey. He's just as bad as fans too. Yeah, he shouldn't be saying that. Did he call a black player a monkey? Was it like a racist thing? Or was he just calling him a monkey in terms of an insult? But, Piers is a twat, isn't he? Didn't Piers storm out of a job? That was funny, wasn't it? The whole interview's a waste of time. We know this already. I think the thing on Ten Hag's interesting, though. Well, the answer was so vague about the club not believing him and his daughter. If that's true, it's awful. But I feel like Ten Hag believed him, but I reckon there was people in the board that just don't care. I mean, we know there's people in the board that don't care. We're close to 300 likes, people, so keep smashing the like button as well. He called a black Arsenal player a monkey. What? How's he not been cancelled? Ronaldo didn't feel comfortable this summer because of all the issues he had. And he's angry at how the press and board treat him this summer. Ronaldo said that it's impossible to be... Ronaldo's just said, and I think this is really interesting, Ronaldo's just said, I've been at the top of the game for 21 years and they keep questioning if I'm professional. I am professional. I have moments when I am professional. He also spoke about being suspended by Man United, and he said, I was very, very disappointed for the communication at Manchester United, to be honest. I never had a problem with the club or with any coach, and they suspended me for 3 days, which I felt was a lot. Ronaldo thinks his suspension was an overreaction when he left the ground early. I mean, I think Ten Hag did the right decision suspending the Ronaldo because it's about setting an example to the squad. Whether it was harsh to Ronaldo or not, I just think it was about setting an example to the squad. Man, it's so clear this interview has been edited in such a devious way. You can see when stuff has been cut at times to make it more sensational or fair. You're spot on. Piers Morgan's going to manipulate the interview to make it as dramatic as he can as well. How about Ronaldo earning some respect before demanding respect? Interesting, good point. Our club is a mess, Alice. It's been destroyed, Alice. We just need to get them Glazers out. They are absolutely destroying this club, aren't they? Top to bottom, Gaz, as well. Top to bottom. Piers is manipulating this, I think. Glazers will be spending in January now for fear of backlash from the fans and not backing Ten Hag. Exactly. I do agree with a lot of things Ronaldo says, like 8 players left the game early. Why do they only mention my name? But then he just talks about having no respect for Ten Hag. And he's saying, oh, his suspension was harsh. He said, yeah. Oh no, this is I think this is a dickhead thing that Ronaldo said though. I agree with a lot of Ronaldo says, but then he makes these really dickhead, arrogant comments. Like, let me see here. Like he says, I remember arriving home and his son Cristiano Jr. came to see me and said, Daddy, do not go to the game. I say no because the club punishes me with 3 days. He did laugh. How are you going to punish you if you're the best player in the world? That arrogance of because I'm the best player in the world, I can't be punished. I get that he maybe feels and should have got more respect from Erik Ten Hag, but it's that arrogance of I'm the best player in the world, so how dare he discipline me? How dare he show me some disrespect? And I personally I don't really agree with that bit myself as well. I can't believe he called the rats. And Piers making accusations without proof is bad journalism. Piers is looking for things. If you watch this interview now, Piers is looking for things. The interview's been cut. You can see Piers is trying to ask him about Ten Hag, ask him about leaving early. Piers Morgan saying things like trying to get an answer out of him, why do they only talk about you leaving early and no one else? And Piers Morgan saying, why, were you the only player on pre-season that didn't start, and all of that as well. I think Piers Morgan is doing his best to really, I think, make Ronaldo come across as bad as he can, but also I think Piers Morgan's doing his best to just be as dramatic as he can. Obviously, we're watching along to the interview, people. There's a quick break in the interview, hence why we're talking about it. Let me know your thoughts on the interview so far, and then we will resume the next bit of the interview when that plays. But I do really like Ronaldo, but I just think aspects of the interview, if I'm being honest, is Ronaldo said he will retire if Portugal win the World Cup. But I think the thing I didn't like, and I'm going to get this up, people, is the one thing I didn't like is this. He said on being suspended by Man United that he was very, very disappointed for the communication from Man United. To be honest, I never had a problem with the club, with any coach, and they suspended me for 3 days, which I felt was a lot. I still believe to this day Ronaldo deserved to be punished. I still to this day believe that Ronaldo deserved to be punished for that, because it's not about disrespecting Ronaldo. I think it's about setting an example to the dressing room because of the amount of issues we've had in the dressing room with player behaviour and stuff. And Ronaldo's having a strop. And maybe the club didn't communicate to him very well during the time that he was going to be suspended. And that, I do think a lot of this went public. Ten Hag went public, and that was a lack of respect to Ronaldo. But I don't like how he's complaining about his punishment rather than just owning it, being like, I shouldn't have left early. Because I still think that, and I think a lot of you guys will think that Ronaldo was wrong to leave early. Like, he was. And I personally, I didn't like that kind of approach to it as well. And Diego says, technically, I don't think Ronaldo has not said anything to make him breach his contracts thus far, clearly being a breakdown in communication between employer and employee. I do somewhat agree with that, Diego. I think we'll have to wait for the full interview to come out, but I think it's because he's slamming the Glazers. I think it's all of them aspects which will make it be him breaching a contract somehow. I think it's the fact that we know he's going to come out and say at some point that he doesn't respect Erik Ten Hag. And for me, if you say you don't respect the manager, then for me that is a massive problem. But you have to respect the manager. And we will do a reaction video to this afterwards, people. We're just obviously waiting for the break. But, Ronaldo on Ten Hag, Ronaldo on Spurs. Part 2 is about to resume. But I just think there's a little bit of arrogance here from Cristiano Ronaldo. And he has the right to be arrogant. He's a good player, but it's like, he does say he regretted leaving the stadium early. But in the same way, he felt provoked by the coach. Not allow me that the coach put me in 3 minutes in a game. Sorry, I'm not that kind of player. I mean, I was saying he's leaving early because he doesn't want to come on in a game that we're winning for 3 minutes. He felt that was disrespectful, and it's just like, at the end of the day, I get that, but you're off on 500k a week. He's your manager. You have to sometimes brush your ego aside for what your manager believes is best as well. On the pre-season game when he left early, he then, Ronaldo made good points saying, yeah, but I wasn't the only one that left early for the pre-season game. Why was all the intention on me? I feel like I'm the black sheep. And I think one of the things that upsets Ronaldo the most, let me just get a drink of water, as you can clearly see with what Ronaldo's saying, he's really upset by the fact that, like, if something goes wrong at Man United, like, he's instantly the one to blame. Like, why are they going on him and none of the other players? Why are they only talking about him leaving and none of the other players? It's like, if there's a problem at United, he feels like he is the bad guy as well. He then talks about Ten Hag, and he says the feeling Ten Hag always mentioned to me was that I didn't need the preseason, so I should wait for my opportunity. But you don't do the same procedure with every player. I'm not going to mention players, but they don't do the same. And Ronaldo says he doesn't feel that he was equally treated by Ten Hag, hence his lack of respect. And Ronaldo's obviously justifying his lack of respect for Ten Hag. But I think, Ronaldo saying Ten Hag don't respect the way I should deserve, but it is what it is. That's why the game against Tottenham he left. And I just, for me, I think you can't say I left the Tottenham game early because Ten Hag doesn't respect me. I don't think that is a good enough excuse for leaving the Tottenham game early. I love Ronaldo. He's my favourite player. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's my GOAT. But you can't say I don't respect the manager. That's why I left early, because I think that makes Ronaldo come across worse. The next bit of the interview has resumed, though, so I am going to shut up. Ronaldo's about being suspended by United. The Glazers only want Ronaldo out to protect reputation, of course. He's talking about Tottenham. The bit about Ten Hag, Ronaldo's been stitched up here by Morgan. I think Morgan is playing Ronaldo as best he can. I really do. I think Morgan was doing his best to get the most juicy stuff out of Ronaldo. I really do. Ronaldo said, "It's difficult to tell right now if he will be a Man United player after January. It's because his mood right now is to the World Cup. It's probably my last World Cup. I don't know what's going to happen after the World Cup." So Ronaldo, I think Ronaldo basically saying it's difficult right now to tell if he's going to be a Man United player in January. For me, it just says he knows he's leaving. I think he knows he's leaving, and I think he's done this interview to make sure he leaves. I think the sole reason he's done this interview is I want to leave. I'm going to make sure I leave, so I'm going to do this interview. I reckon that is Ronaldo's sole intention behind it as well. Make sure you get involved in the chat, and we can talk about this in the chat, people, as well. What's your thoughts so far? I should really shut up so you can listen a bit more. Ronaldo feels he's got no respect and honesty from Ten Hag. It's interesting. Piers Morgan's brought up the video clip where he's told Ten Hag he's not coming back on and went down the tunnel and got suspended. I think that was wrong with Ronaldo. I do like Ronaldo, but I do think that was wrong. I don't think he should have done that to Ten Hag. I thought it was unprofessional. Ronaldo said he regrets leaving the stadium, but then he says why he done it, because he doesn't have respect for Ten Hag. He's really not said anything that bad in the interviews, but it's clearly unprofessional. He could have spoken privately to Ten Hag, so it has to try and make sure United didn't want him to come back. Yeah, 100% agree. I don't think he said anything outrageous, but it is about he could have communicated better with Ten Hag as well. Daniel says at least Ronaldo does regret walking out as well. But I think I agree with Endless Martin here. The irony is in Ronaldo talking about rap media whilst on a show owned by the Sun newspaper. Ronaldo is dumb. I think that I don't think Ronaldo's realised that Piers Morgan is that media that will write a story on a player for clicks. Piers Morgan will sell his soul for clicks. He really will. I don't know how the Glazers sleep at night. I know. You should always think things before you do things. Yeah, agree. Refused to play a few days suspension was too much. I think it sets an example. I think it's not even about if he deserves more respect for the manager because he's Ronaldo and he shouldn't be punished. It's about actually maybe Ronaldo you believe you should be punished, but it's about showing respect and setting an example for the other players to tell the other players you can't do that. Pogba was more disrespectful to Mourinho and the club backed this shit. The club's changed though. Well, it hasn't changed, but I think if the club backed Ten Hag, that's a positive. The club have always backed players over managers and all of that. And Ronaldo's PR team had a stink here. I agree, but I think they've been played by Piers. I think that Ronaldo. I bet if we saw the full interview about the cuts, saw what Piers Morgan had been asking, and see how Piers Morgan manipulates it, I do think Ronaldo's been played here to come across as controversial as he can to get more views. Parasites sleep just fine. I love that. This isn't an interview, it's an opportunity for Ronaldo to get some sympathy. It's kind of psychopathic, says Tad Bates. I think that it's Ronaldo. It seems like a kid is doing this interview to just kind of get his points across because he's pissed off. I do get that to an extent. Ronaldo said he feels betrayed. He feels like the club's trying to get rid of him. Complaining about United's communication. He's gone in the Glazers, which I like. So the Glazers know nothing about this sport, which is true. Absolutely true. And he's saying the Glazers make this club a marketing club. He's gone in on the Glazers, the marketing now, which is the bit we want. He says the Glazers don't care about United. So that the Glazers do nothing. They give all the power to the sports directives. Talk about the infrastructure issues at United, how it's not changed. Going on the Glazers' lack of ambition to change the club, which is the bit we want to know. He's saying the fans should know the truth. He says he's come to United because he wants what's best for the club. Ronaldo said that he has clubs that want to sign him, but he didn't go because he felt comfortable at Manchester United in the end. What's your thoughts on that, people? Ronaldo saying he felt comfortable at United, so that's why he didn't go. Why didn't Morgan ask about captaining Villa? So one-sided, I agree. I hate creepy Glazers, says Alex. Piers knows more about the stuff CR7 was saying before he said it. Piers should have been the one talking. I agree, Joel Bailey. CR7 needs to have media lessons to know how to come across. Yeah, I think he's been manipulated here as well. The Glazers are definitely part lizard. I agree. Oh, he's having a pop with the Glazers. This is unprecedented for current players to do, which I love. This is the contract terminated here. This is Ronaldo's contract terminated here because he's just like, yeah, let's have a pop at the Glazers, which we love. But that's Ronaldo gone, people. Now he's gone in on the Glazers. He's reading out what Gary Neville said now. He's what the thing. Piers Morgan's very manipulative because he's reading out everything Neville said bad about Ronaldo, but not reading out the good thing he said about Ronaldo before that. Neville praised Ronaldo, then said this, and Piers Morgan will only read out the negatives. I think he's really trying to manipulate Ronaldo there as well. Ronaldo said he had clubs that wanted him though. Ronaldo saying that he was never rejected by clubs in the summer, and that is a lie. He's saying that there's all these stories that he never got any offers and everyone rejected him in the summer, and he said that that's all lies and that he had clubs in the summer. Ronaldo said that he wasn't rejected by anyone this summer. Ronaldo says he doesn't like Gary Neville because he has no respect for him. He's going in on Gary Neville for not showing respect to him, which is interesting. I can't wait to do a video on this after. People only pretend to like him so they can get press stories on him. He says the fans are right for speaking out against the Glazers, which is absolute facts. Fans already know how to stop making excuses for him. It's pathetic. That's bollocks. He wanted out, not buying that. £500,000 should make anyone feel comfortable. I agree. Piers makes me feel ill. Creepy Avram Glazer. Bridges are being burned. He defo was rejected. Poor Ronaldo, he's hurt. I reckon he got offers, but not from the clubs he wanted, and that's why he stayed at United. This is not an interview, but it's an interrogation. I agree. Ronaldo lies. He tried to leave in the summer. He did. I think he did get offers, like from Saudi Arabia, but I don't think he got offers from the clubs he wanted to move to. And I think that probably hurt him. Apparently, Arsenal went for Ronaldo. I don't know if I even believe that story, if I'm being honest. I don't see how Arsenal fits in. Ronaldo fits in at Arsenal. Imagine if Ronaldo joins Arsenal and does crap. I wonder if Piers will turn on him as well. He says, the fans for me will always be by my side. He talks about the fans. But he said here, about the fans speaking out against the Glazers. Ronaldo says the Man United fans always right. Now we've got another quick ad break, people, in the Piers Morgan interview. But so far he's gone in on Ten Hag. So far he's gone in the Glazers, and so I spoke and about Spurs as well. Someone said, apparently Ronaldo said, if Man United don't win the Premier League, I will be happy if Arsenal do. Great. United faithfuls have said that Cristiano Ronaldo needs to understand that it's okay to accept the fact he no longer is the same player he used to be 10 years ago, and it's absolutely normal because age catches up with everyone. And I think the general consensus in this is I think Ronaldo's really struggling with the fact that actually he's not as good as he used to be because of his age, and I think he doesn't like that he doesn't play every week. He doesn't like that he's getting dropped as well. And Ronaldo just called Rooney and other Man United players rats as well. And Piers Morgan just doesn't like Ten Hag. Piers Morgan's trying to get Ronaldo to say as much as he can about Ten Hag as well. And the fact that Ronaldo said if Man United don't win the Premier League, he'll be happy if Arsenal does. For me, it was worse than the Ten Hag comment. Like, why is Ronaldo saying that? Why is Ronaldo saying he'd be happy if Arsenal wins the league, people? This is mad. It's not an interview. It's an ego-stroking exercise, says Robert as well. United in the mud. CR7 is pissing into the tent. The sooner we rid ourselves of him, the better, says Jamie. I just think when I look at this interview, I just see Ronaldo's frustrated, but I just see a Ronaldo that I just think can't come to terms with the fact that he's not the player he used to be. Like, that's generally what this interview screams of. He hasn't accepted or come to terms with the fact that he's not the player he used to be. Oh shit, just clicked the wrong button. And I think that that's why he's doing this interview. He feels disrespected by the manager. Why aren't I playing as much? Why aren't loads of teams going in for me? And I think that Ronaldo needs therapy in the sense to deal with his maybe drop off in football, because he's so used to being at the top that he's going to struggle not being at the top. But I do think that he's also being played by Piers motherfucking Morgan. I'll tell you this now, Piers Morgan is doing everything he can to try and play Ronaldo's this interview, isn't he? Piers Morgan is just like, you know what? We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. I've got mixed opinions about the interview, if I'm being honest. Real mixed opinions as well. Ronaldo said about Ten Hag subbing on late for Portugal. If the coach wants to put me on for 5 minutes, if they really need me, I will help. But in that way, I felt provoked. And he said that he didn't like that Ten Hag was trying to put him on so late. Ronaldo said, what they say in the last 3 months is complete garbage and wrong, that they offer me this and that. And many presidents and directors will speak about they reject me. It's a complete lie that he wasn't rejected by clubs. He says he don't want to be cocky to say that I'm the same when I was 20, but I can adapt and know my strengths and I know I can still score goals. And he said that he wants to have an amazing World Cup, and that if Portugal win the World Cup, he will retire. And Ronaldo says the criticism is going to exist all the time. He's 37, he's not the same, but if you want to see some guy my age maintain that levels that I can show, which is true, like you can't expect him and all of that. Ronaldo actually spoke about the World Cup being in Qatar. He says all the national teams, all the people, they need to be welcomed in Qatar. And I see a good tournament, to be honest. I think Qatar are prepared, which I think is a fair comment on Qatar. He says he wants everyone to feel welcome in Qatar, all the people that maybe don't feel welcome in Qatar. But, I think he's just focused on winning the World Cup as well. And he says he wants to play 2 years, maybe 3 years more at football at the maximum. He wants to finish at 40. He thinks 40 is a good age. But I still can't believe he said that Arsenal is some team he likes to see play. He likes the team. He likes the coach. He thinks they're a good team. I swear, man, if Ronaldo ends up going Arsenal, I swear, people, fuck's sake. Why, Ronaldo, are you praising Arsenal? That's worse than you slagging off Ten Hag. You're praising Arsenal. Arsenal fans are going to be, you know what's annoying is Arsenal fans, they'll be absolutely wetting themselves over this. And you know how I feel about Arsenal fans, people. Let me get this up. I actually thought this was a fake tweet at first because my interview's behind as well. Egotistical, arrogant, attention-seeking prat, says Shoaib Khan, and biggest fan base in the world and can't get rid of these Americans. This is our club as well. And I don't want to be cocky, but Ronaldo, really? That bit was quite funny, wasn't it, as well? And last season, Ronaldo and De Gea carried Manchester United's results. This season, I think Ronaldo's dipped forward. But I agree. I think that people forget what Ronaldo did this last season and do disrespect him as well. And the interview, not as bad as people reacting. It's not right to the interview, but he's got some good points. I agree with that comment as well. Let me catch up on the interview here, though. It's resuming. Erik Ten Hag or Rangnick are typical coaches who work only with young players. No, I disagree with that. Oh. The excuse. He's blaming Man United for his poor form, not playing him. He's saying he didn't have a pre-season, that's why they didn't play him. Erik Ten Hag can't angle big egos. Imagine Mbappe. This interview is a normal moan to your partner or parents. And Ten Hag thinking, what sort of club is this? Ten Hag's probably watching that. What? There's no hard evidence, though. It's all feelings with Ronaldo that he's a hurt boy. I do think Ronaldo needs to kind of counselling for when he retires from football, because I think he's struggling with it as well. Does he go to all 64 games? Is that even possible? Aren't someone at the same time? I guess it is possible because they're all really close as well. And only 144 likes need 300 likes. Let's go for 300 likes, people. 300 watching. Let's go for 300 likes. Talk about other clubs making offers for him at the moment. You said the Saudi Arabia offer is true. Turned down £700 million from Saudi Arabia. Which just shows he's not about the money, which is true. Shows that it's not all about money for Ronaldo as well. He's talking at 37. Now he's got the highest salary in Premier League history. Jeez. He's about to talk about Messi, people, as well. He says Man United belongs to the fans. They should know the truth. The infrastructure's not good. Absolutely spot on from Ronaldo there. Absolutely spot on. I like how Ronaldo has called out the Glazers. So what just be linked to everyone under the sun tomorrow as well. He does say he doesn't think he'll be back at United, but let's see what happens. Ronaldo says on Ten Hag, I like guys who speak honestly and up front. I do not negotiate my morals. My morals will be intact. Ronaldo's going in on Ten Hag. He speaks about Ten Hag wanting to sub him on late and saying that's disrespectful. Ronaldo's reason because that Ten Hag doesn't respect him is because he subs him on late. I think Ronaldo is starting to go in on Ten Hag, people. Ronaldo is starting to go on Ten Hag. He signed a 3-year contract, and I will probably not be a part of Man United when I finish my contract. Ronaldo's basically saying Ten Hag's here for 3 years, and I'm not going to be here for much longer. And he says that he doesn't like Ten Hag because he doesn't speak honestly. He's not upfront about things, and he doesn't negotiate his morals. And he's saying that's why he doesn't like Ten Hag. So there's no way Ronaldo's coming back because he's just absolutely slammed Ten Hag. He is talking a bit of waffle here. Got to go for criticising Ten Hag, I believe. I agree. You can't just criticise the manager. Smash the likes. Ronaldo cannot handle the fact there's a new kid at United who's taking the limelight away from him. Probably is. I think he's just struggling to come to terms with his thing. I've been away to Saudi Arabia, 700 million. See ya. I feel like if you've got young kids, though, you don't want to move to Saudi Arabia just because it's not the best country to grow up in, is it? I guess he's got all the money in the world. Watch him blame United if he has a poor World Cup. He isn't scoring because he isn't happy and people aren't playing around him to his ego. Someone said. And all this is a piece trying to get Ronaldo to convince him to sign for Arsenal. You think? And really enjoy your content and all the others like the United Stand Sam. I suffer from severe anxiety as I'm a regular content gives me a focus. Thanks. Appreciate that, Dave. Means a lot. Piers is a clown. Even as a Chelsea fan, I hate Piers. Piers is a clown, isn't he? Who will replace Ronaldo? Man United will probably sign someone shit because that's Man United, aren't they? We always, you know what we're like. Ronaldo believes he's still at the top, but he knows he's not what he'll be at age 20. Ronaldo says, of course, he's getting criticised as well. Breaking news, guys. Garnacho is a candidate to replace Joaquim Carragher in Argentina's squad. Garnacho could get called up for the World Cup, people, last minute as well. And Ten Hag says things to the press, but the press say what they think is good to protect him. Again, Ronaldo goes in on Ten Hag. Now, the stuff Ronaldo said on Ten Hag's unacceptable. I feel like Ronaldo's not happy with I did not expect Ronaldo to say this much about Ten Hag. I don't know if Ronaldo's saying this much about Ten Hag because Ronaldo knows if he just slags off Ten Hag, and Ronaldo knows if he just absolutely slates, not just Ten Hag, but if he absolutely slates the Glazers, there's no way to allow that. After what Ronaldo said on Ten Hag, that is the contract gone, people. That is the contract gone. He says United belongs to the fans, which is true. But I'm shocked that Ronaldo's gone on Ten Hag like that, guys. He's saying that Ten Hag lies to the press protect Ten Hag, but not him. There's some saltiness there. There is some saltiness. He says Manchester will always be on my side. Piers Morgan's asking about leaving United. Ronaldo's nodding that he's most likely to leave United. Usman's just said something really good. Ronaldo still thinks he's that guy, and that's the issue. He ain't accepted that he can't do what he once did. Seems clear that he still he feels like he's got more to offer than be a bit part player. I respect his self-belief, but reality is also needed. And I think that's what I really get from the Ronaldo interview. I feel like Ronaldo can't handle the fact that I love Ronaldo, but he just can't handle it. He can't. That he's not the player he used to be. Virus of Man United is the Glazers, not Ronaldo. I agree. Public criticism of the manager looks like he's off in Jan. Not sure where he goes though. Yeah, I agree with you, Rich. He's 100% gone because there's no way Ten Hag can play him again. It makes Ten Hag look like a mug. Martial will probably go out injured again for 3 months whilst the World Cup is on, and then the club will keep Ronaldo, make him stay. I think the club have got to sign a striker. I don't think they want to sell Ronaldo and sign a striker, but I think Ronaldo's given them no choice. And if they don't, then the Glazers can go fucking do one as well. Be nice if Garnacho gets in as well. This would not stand up in court of law, so I've got no time for it. It's just tad interesting. A lot of people turning on Ten Hag. Ronaldo and Piers are worth each other, says Robert. Farewell interview. It is a farewell interview. The Piers Morgan have to get the sack for media. Piers Morgan is smart when it comes to media because he knows how to get the most views as well. OMG asking about Sir Alex. He talks nice of Sir Alex as well. I was the biggest Ronaldo fan. He is from Portugal. His grandmother is Cabo Verde when Nani was born and where Patrice Evra's mother was from. But now, and there is his reality, the whole interview, not objective facts. Yeah, 100%. We should all vote to get fears off the internet. 2 goals for Bruno for Portugal, no Ronaldo in the squad. CR7 has done us a huge favour by exposing all that he has. 100%. I think it's actually the best thing you could do because one, I think it would be better without Ronaldo in the sense just because he doesn't want to be in, Ten Hag doesn't want him. So this will help us get rid of Ronaldo, but at the same time, put a bit of attention on the fact that the Glazers don't care, and it gets confirmed by Ronaldo that the Glazers don't care. Glory, glory, Man United. It's just another ad break so far. But I think it's fair to say from what we're getting from the interview, it's very much Ronaldo's reality of things. I think you can watch the interview and I think we can all say it's very obvious Ronaldo's really struggling with the fact that he's not a player he used to be. And Ronaldo doesn't like Erik Ten Hag because purely for the fact that he feels that Ten Hag's disrespected him, playing him on the bench and then subbing him on for 3 minutes. Ronaldo's whole issue with Ten Hag is, why am I on the bench and being subbed on for 3 minutes? And I think Ronaldo, while I admire the mentality of I'm the best, I still believe in myself at age 30, while I still admire Ronaldo's mentality of that, I think he's not really coming to reality with it as well. And from Ronaldo's comments on Erik Ten Hag, it's clear they don't get along. That's fine. Erik Ten Hag prefers certain types of players and Ronaldo isn't that player and he hasn't reacted well. Just terminate the contract and let's move on to Usman, which is spot on. And there's a common theme with the Ronaldo interview. His off-field comments are spot on, i.e. stagnation under Woodward and the Glazers being leeches, but any comment directly about sporting matters seems to be so far from reality and borderline delusional. And I agree. I think Ronaldo, in terms of sporting matters, you can just tell he can't seem to accept the fact he's not the player he used to be. But all his comments about what's going on in the club is absolutely spot on as well. And I think, for me, Ronaldo wants his the contract terminated. Ten Hag doesn't want him. It's the most appropriate thing to do as well. And Ronaldo says, how do they not want a player who scored 32 goals last year, including the international team? Why did Man United not want me? And Ronaldo says that Ten Hag says things for the press. The press say things to protect him. That's what Ronaldo had to say on Ten Hag. He was not happy as well. I just think this interview is so shit that I can't wait for it to be over and done with, really. I'm glad that today's the last day of the interview. I feel like Piers Morgan has dragged this out for as long as he can, because all this interview is for Piers Morgan is, how long can I stay relevant? How long can I get my name trending? I feel like this interview is just the Piers Morgan ego boost of how long can I stay relevant? How long can I get my name trending? Let's not release the interview in one go. Let's drag out the interview, get as many interactions as we can as well. And honestly, it is just like, He says the coach didn't have respect for me, so this is why the relationship is the way it is. He keeps saying to the press that he will come to me, like, blah, blah, blah. He's only saying that to the press. Like, Ronaldo, he's going in on Ten Hag people in. And for me, it's like, I don't like that he's gone in on Ten Hag. I like Ten Hag. I think that what Ronaldo says about the club and the stagnation of the club is spot on, but the comments on Ten Hag, the comments on how the club treat him, I just think he just can't deal with the fact that he's not the player he used to be. He really can't. Ronaldo will always love the United fans. I agree. I feel like he does love the fans and all that as well. And Morgan's channel grew 160k subs because of this deep fried interview. It's absolutely insane, isn't it, as well? And Ronaldo needs world-class players with him, not the shit current players. I mean, yeah and no, but I think some of our players are good. I just think that we're in a new era of football, modern football, and Ronaldo's not the player that suits the way Ten Hag wants to play. And I'm fed up with CR7 thinking he's better than everyone else. No one's bigger than the club. I agree with that. False nine, what the hell is a false nine? It's Ronaldo's reality, and his reality is crumbling. Erik Ten Hag has taken root. That's best for United, not for Ronaldo, and he can't handle it, says Tad. I think that's a decent point there. And this could have been aired from Sunday and not dragged out 100%. We've got over 300 people watching, so please do subscribe if you're new, and of course smash the like button. Piers Morgan really milking, thinking he's got the story of the decade. Have you seen it? If you look at all of Piers Morgan's tweets, 150,000 people watching, 10 million views. It's all about views. It's all about dragging it out, and it's all about clickbaiting the story to make it as dramatic as he can. Piers Morgan's an absolute piece of shit. 197 likes, 3 likes away from 200 likes, people. And Ronaldo can't be replaced. It's a laughable comment. He can't be replaced to the extent of prime Ronaldo can't be replaced, but we could bring in a new striker that could offer more than 37-year-old Ronaldo. It's not as gripping as I thought it would be. I agree. I think the comments on Ten Hag are absolutely outrageous. And remember the cliques in the dressing room. Ten Hag came in and put everyone in the same level regardless of status, and Ronaldo's ego can't handle that. You know what? That's a really good comment there. I'm going to screenshot that comment and go back to that in my match reaction because I love Ronaldo, but I think he's made himself come across like a twat. And I think Ronaldo's obviously struggling with the ego side of things. I think that's a really good comment. We're into the last 10 minutes of the interview, people. Then I'm going to do a reaction video on it. What I'll do in my reaction video is if you can't be asked to watch the the full interview, that's fine. Because the whole reaction video was just going to be the main points he said. So what he said about Ten Hag, what he said about, the Tottenham game, what he said about the Glazers. The whole main interview is going to be about what he said on the Glazers and all of that. I think the main interview is actually going to be on like the relevant points. I don't need to click on that. So if we scroll back, if we go back over the Twitter, see what Twitter's saying. And he said that Sir Alex Ferguson knows that the club's not on the right path, regardless. I can see where Ronaldo's coming from, says Goldbridge, but I think he's doing it for publicity. I think Goldbridge is right when he says that as well. There's people saying, should Ten Hag respond, people? That's a question as well. Should Ten Hag respond? It's interesting. Ronaldo and Gary Neville criticism, they don't see the big picture. This is a lot of the quotes as well. But this was the interesting one. Ten Hag keeps saying in the press that he counts on me and that he likes me, blah, 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 but it's only for the press. I thought that was very interesting as well. Can't wait to see him go, says Vin. He said same keep us in his heart when he left high and dry for Real Madrid. And the best 37-year-old, but not good enough, is rocket science. And when I look at it, I really think he should just went to City. I mean, it would have been better for his career, but I couldn't deal with him going to City. And fucking kids get 40 million views on Twitter these days, Piers. Ain't that special? Piers thinks he's the shit as well. And the end of his football career, and he can't handle it. He sees Messi playing as a star, and he gets jealous because he's on the bench. But I think there is a bit of jealousy of Messi as well. And I was starting to feel sorry for him. But after the Arsenal comment, he can go and get behind the manager. Nobody's bigger than the club. Who said that? Enough said. Says Sim. I think you make a good point there. And how long is the interview on for? Morgan is terrible. He knows sod all about football and spouts his meaningless opinions from Twitter constantly. That's all he's about, says Dave. I love that. And he is a twat, and a twat is putting words in his mouth, though he was smart, not moron, says Kevin. And Ronaldo betrayed Manchester. I'd love to hear Fergie's thoughts on the matters. I know Fergie agrees that Glazers are out, but I don't think Fergie will say anything about Ronaldo publicly as well. Ronaldo should do an interview with Goldbridge. I'd love that. That'd be so good. And Piers is so great at kissing up to his ego. Piers is doing this on purpose to wind them up and get a reaction out of him as well. And Erik Ten Hag has more important things to do, like picking out a new winter cap and then responding to this nonsense, says Joe. And I agree with that, Joe, as well. I do agree with that, Joe. And he can be replaced. Yeah, he's not perfect, but it's not fair on the Glazers and the media to try and I think that Ronaldo gets. I think Ronaldo makes good points about how the media villainize him. I think Ronaldo makes good points about how the Glazers do not care about Man United and the fans are right. But I think some of Ronaldo's points on Ten Hag are delusional. Good Ronaldo points would be, good Ronaldo points on unfair media treatment. I agree. But it's just, he's gone really in on Ten Hag, and it's just not necessary. And I say this now, there's no way in hell Ten Hag's going to let Ronaldo back after this. No way in hell. He says, I'm all about the team, but I won't play for 3 minutes. But it's just one of the most contradicting things. Ronaldo speaks very respectful of Lionel Messi. He said, it's hard for me to say that I will not be back for Man United, but regardless, as you say, let's see what's going to happen. And I think that's Ronaldo basically confirming he's not coming back to United. That's how I see that, is Ronaldo basically saying, you know what, I ain't coming back to United as well. And look, it's a shame that it had to end this way, but I think it had to end this way in the sense of, I bet if Ronaldo didn't do this interview, the Glazers will keep him here to the end of the year to get as many shirt sales and sponsors off Ronaldo. I think if this didn't happen, I think that Ronaldo would be heavily taken. I think the Glazers would be heavily taking advantage of Ronaldo and the current situation, which is also sad to admit, but I do think that's the truth. I do think that Ronaldo maybe had to do this interview to get a move because, we all know what the board's like. We all know what the Glazers like. We all know that they're, scummy piece of shits with questionable morals. So 100%. The interview will be over in 5 minutes as well. And a stature of a player like Ronaldo is perfect to expose Glazers. Meanwhile, Piers getting his TV views. Yeah, 100% as well. And Erik Ten Hag is a Dutchman. This means rich or poor, young or old, black or white, stand in line, no one gets priority. And that's what he's doing, isn't he, as well? What a waste of time. I've given up on the interview now. I can't be bothered to hear Piers Morgan's voice. I can't be bothered to listen to the last 5 minutes. Unless he says something outrageous, I'm not going to play the last 5 minutes as well. And he gets criticised for Portugal performances as well, as they can see that their team plays worse with him. Plays worse with him, better without him. Interesting. And if he comes back, they should pay him in 1 pence to glue his arse on the bench. There's no way he can put on a United shirt again after what he said publicly about Erik Ten Hag. Like, I do like Ronaldo, but I 100% agree with the fact that after what he said about Erik Ten Hag, he surely can't play again. It would just be unacceptable. It would just be delusional to let him play again, because what he said is just outrageous, absolutely outrageous, people, isn't it? I don't think he can play again. I'll be honest, I don't think he can. Prepare the timings for Ronaldo's return to Manchester United was too soon, and I haven't watched any of it. I've just watched you react to Piers. I'm going to make a short reaction video to the full interview, people. I think that's what I'll do. Make a short reaction video to the full video, because obviously this is just an hour live stream with me reacting live as it comes out, and I can just interact with you guys. But I think tonight will be the short video summing up this interview, what he said about Ten Hag, what he said about the Glazers, all the good points. I'm not going to get into the full interview, just the main points. Tomorrow morning will be my thoughts on when Ronaldo gets sacked, probably. And then obviously tomorrow evening will be a transfer news live stream, and then the Ronaldo situation's over. We're past it. And then we'll be focusing on the World Cup content, people. And Alice, would you like him to stay or leave? I think Ronaldo needs to leave. I think it's better for him and it's better for us. And I think if he stays, it causes a problem, because he's not wanted. There's no point keeping a player that's here that's not happy, and there's no point keeping a player here that's not wanted and not wanted by the manager. So, yeah. Ronaldo's told Piers Morgan that Arsenal are his title favourites. Ronaldo, man. Don't be playing up to Piers Morgan's ego either. I like you, Ronaldo, but you are being too nice to Mr. Piers Morgan. We don't like Piers Morgan. We don't like Piers Morgan. We don't like Piers Morgan because he's a twat. We don't like Piers Morgan. We don't like Piers Morgan. We don't like Piers Morgan because he's a twat. That would actually be such a sick song. That would be such a good song, Loki. We're into the final minutes of the interview. And it's just Ronaldo going on Ten Hag, if I'm going to be honest with you. Just going on and on about Ten Hag. And yeah, I'm disappointed with what Ronaldo's had to say on Ten Hag. I do think it's been incredibly disrespectful. And I don't think he should have said what he did on Erik Ten Hag. Swat and the word. Better him saying City, to be fair. Good point. Fucking Terminator's off. Both parts are out now and rip it up. Should wear a shirt with twat written all over it. Morgan's a total scumbag and goes where the money is. He does not care about people's feelings. He's no friend of Ronaldo. I agree. And look, people, the interview's basically over now. So I am going to wrap up this live stream, but I will be back in 45 minutes to do a review of both interviews. I'm going to probably screenshot the 10 most important points from the two interviews, get into them. And yeah, so if you don't want to watch the full interview, that's fine. I'm going to do a short summary in less than 10 minutes of the full interview and my opinion. So make sure you subscribe, because there's going to be a video up in 45 minutes. Make sure you smash the like, because there's a video out tomorrow morning and a live stream tomorrow. So like, subscribe, big up people for tuning in as well. The interview was laughable, I agree. See you next time, people, and bye.